Hey guys, so let me tell you about another great summer fragrance, spring, summer, warm weather fragrance from Acqua di Parma, and it's Colonia Intensa, right? And let me tell you all about this one. So this is an interesting one to talk about, both in terms of the scent and how it performs, how it works, because it's an eau de cologne, right? And that's not the majority of fragrances you own, right? It's not your eau de toilettes and eau de parfums. So this is a fragrance in the Colonia line. You probably already know. The one that gets talked about a lot is Essenza, and I love that one as well. It's a more soapy fragrance than this one. I don't have it, so I can't really give you a comparison, but I have smelled it many times. It's a good one as well. But this one you can find for a lot cheaper. Maybe because it's not talked about as much, maybe it's not as new of a release, but this one you can pick up for $60 to $70 for this size for 100 ml. Yeah, probably. I got mine for $60 on Joma Shop, which sometimes I shop there. It's a nice place for certain niche fragrances. So 60 bucks, already a good value proposition. Now, is it worth that money, right? So you have to, when you buy this fragrance or think of buying it, you have to know what you're going for with this scent, right? It's a very refreshing, easygoing light scent, but it's not the most projecting kind of fragrance. It's an eau de cologne, and you do feel that. It's a very, it feels very watery when you first spray it. And what's interesting, sorry, I have so many fragrances here, but what's interesting is that, this has added woody notes and also some resins that in here that kind of affect the scent, but also the performance in a weird way, right? It's still a watery, refreshing fragrance, but that doesn't project all that much, but it does last, right? So let me give you a spray and tell you what I think of the smell. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. I'm not even exaggerating. It's a good scent because it's different, right? So what you get is, again, very refreshing, and you immediately think, okay, this is great for warm weather. You get a nice blast of citrus, but right away, to me, what I pick up on the most, right, is myrrh, right? And that's what makes this fragrance so interesting. Myrrh is an oriental note, right? That's found a lot in kind of heavier fragrances, more for wintertime, more for cold weather. But we're talking about a cologne, summer cologne, that's got this added note of myrrh. And so it just provides it gives a lot of depth, a lot of like strength, masculinity, and backbone to a fragrance that might otherwise be a citrus soapy kind of fragrance. And I believe in their description, they list kind of herbal notes like myrtle. I wouldn't even call that herbal, but it's a shrub, I believe. But it's got notes like that, which not the most prominent, right? But I get this very prominent kind of resin behind the citrus, but it is still refreshing. And what I also get, what separates this from others in the Colonia line and other fresh scents, citrus scents in general, is because it's got a very clear leather note in the base as well. But this is a fragrance that's all around blended so smoothly. And there are fragrances, cheap or expensive, that just do that, where no note is too strong, no note stands out. Everything is just seamless, and I'm not saying that's necessarily better. Sometimes, enhancing or accentuating a note is what you want, right? But here, it's one of those very blended, well-blended, smooth scents. Now, what I also pick up, as you keep smelling it, is in addition to the myrrh, this is a woody citrus kind of fragrance. And the wood here, it's a little bit dark. Again, interesting, this contrast of dark and fresh at the same time. And this has got the note of gaiac wood, which can be a very smoky, intense wood. And it's done just right? It's not too much. It's still great for warm weather, hot weather, this is gonna work. And for me, this is a great after shower kind of fragrance. It just feels so good. Yeah, so the Gaiac wood starts peaking up. So it becomes, you know, a bit of a darker scent along with the leather, which adds to that quality. And the citrus, you know, fade gradually, right? It's not gone by any means, but it starts to fade. And another note here that's very, very prominent is cedar. So I actually, you know, in addition to the myrrh, the resinous quality added to a citrus fragrance, I saw this as a cedar scent, cedar forward scent. And, you know, it reminded me of another fresh scent with cedar and Prada Infusion Iris Cedar. They're very different smelling scents, but the reason there's a resemblance is this also has it emphasizes the cedar, right? Of course, it's got the iris, so it comes across a lot more linen-like and floral. Not powdery, but it's got that same quality that cedar gives, right? Cedar wood, I mean, the more cedar fragrances you smell, you'll understand, but it's very woody to me. Like it's got like a dry shaven quality, and it can be fresh yet deep, but it works great with notes like neroli, which of course I think probably all the Acqua di Parma Colonia, or most of them, have that note, right? To give it the refreshing, summery, soapy vibe. This goes in a woody direction, and so if you want Acqua di Parma, a Colonia, you know, something from that line, and you want a more woody, leathery, slightly darker, more masculine version, this is the one to go for. Essenza is also, I think, a more masculine version, but again, like I said, I can't compare it right now, but that's a great choice. But this is a lot cheaper, and it's interesting in a different way, right? This has more contrast of the freshness, myrrh resinous quality, and the darker Gaiac wood, which is so interesting. And then of course leather. And leather is, to me, typically a hard note to like and to use, especially for most people, right, who aren't into fragrances. But here, this is how you do a leather that's mass appealing, right? You add leather, and all it is just a background to give it the masculinity, the dryness. It's good, right? Goes well with the woody quality of this scent. And, you know, as it dries down longer and longer, I would say, you know, it becomes more of the kind of woody, slightly spicy, dry feel, okay? Less of that summer scent, but it's a scent that can sit fine on your skin even in hot weather, I think. All right, because this is a type of fragrance where they don't tone up these notes too much, right? Nothing is offensive here. I think this is a very safe scent, very office friendly, a bit classy at the same time, gentlemanly and masculine, right? So this is a perfect office, summer, everyday type of cologne, after shower, versatile, right? So let's talk about performance. You know, I said it's interesting. The performance here is interesting, right, to comment on. And that's because, you know, it's not a very projecting fragrance, but so I'll tell you what happened. So, you know, I sprayed it skin and shirt, and, you know, I think a day or even 2 days later, I picked up that shirt again, and the scent was there strong, right? Even though during the day, and you know, it's not like the scent is projecting all day. It doesn't feel like you're getting such strong performance. But I think because it sits there in the dry down, the resins and the deeper notes, it ends up being, you know, having good longevity even without the best performance, right? So especially on clothes. So it lasted, I mean, easily all day on clothes. And what's interesting is the scent profile changes a little bit as well, you know, on the clothes, and it becomes refreshing again. It's weird, right? It's really hard to describe, but you would think, you know, it's just the resins that have dried down, but it has an uplifting quality, you know, after it's already fully dried on clothes, right? And that's why I think this is such a refreshing scent. I don't know why they do it, but or how they did it, but it has a refreshing quality deep into the dry down. One thing I didn't mention, just just a fun fact is this fragrance, the perfumers were Francois Demarchy and Alberto Morillas, right? Collaboration. Two of two of everyone's favorite perfumers, right? They're giants, right, in the industry, and so they came out, not saying that it's good just because they made it, but their name kind of stands up here, right? Or this stands up to their reputation. This stands up to their reputation. All right, so great scent. Would recommend if you're into woody, if leathery fragrances, but want something, an option, masculine leathery option for the summer, for warm weather. This is a great pickup, all right? And a great addition, I think, as an office scent as well. All right, so let me know what you think. What's your favorite Acqua di Parma Colonia? Maybe I'll add that to my collection. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.